So 2 things you need to know about me. Like they mentioned, I'm the middle school pastor, and I like object lessons. So you guys ready for an object lesson today? Sweet. Because, yeah, a little old school, but it's still good. That's the thing. I have an argument that adults need object lessons just as much as kids. You guys just don't know that. It's okay. But today I get to stand before you and share something that I have learned in regards to giving or offering unto the Lord. First thing I want to dispel right now is God doesn't need your income. He is not in it for the 10%. He is in it for the 100% of your faith. That's actually what it is. And I grew up in a pastor's home, which meant that my birthday money was taxed by the state and the church simultaneously. It was a rough go for me. So I've been tithing for as long as I can remember, not really fully understanding the faith component. And because it was just built into what I did, right? I didn't really understand why. I kind of want to illustrate what that looks like in a second here. But my husband and I, a few years ago, took in 2 children, and then 3 children, and now we have 5. Pray. But for the first time in my life, I had to activate faith in a different way. Because I was very blessed. I didn't have to need or worry growing up. And then we took in 2 children for which we could not afford, and had to depend fully on what God was going to do, because he had our yes, but our bank account was just a little tight at that moment. And so we had to be faithful in that. And for the first time in my life, I questioned, should we give? Because it's easy to give when you don't need it. But I would argue maybe it's not really giving. And so we remained faithful. And we kept giving to the church and even offering on top of that when God led us to do so. And my husband went from working a job out of state, stocking grocery stores, which was just really hard on our family. He was gone all the time and the pay was okay, to being sent back to school, getting a different job or set up for a different job. And by the time it came for us to adopt these children that we had taken in, because it takes a little while, the company that he worked for paid for the entire adoption. Yeah, glory, because we just were going, okay, God, yes, and we were drowning in lawyer bills and all the things necessary to get to that place. But God was so faithful. I was reading through Hebrews earlier this week, and I was just noticing let me drop that real fast. In Hebrews 11, the chapter of faith, every single faith command is activated by something, right? So I was just going through and I was like, Abel brought, Abraham moved, Noah built, Isaac promised, Joseph spoke, Moses went, Jesus died. You read through, and every single faith that God calls us to, we have to step into it. And that's really hard in those moments where you go, but God, I don't know how. And then in James 2, it says that, don't you remember that our ancestor Abraham was shown to be right with God by his actions when he offered his son Isaac on the altar? You see, his faith and his actions worked together. His actions made his faith complete. Allow me to demonstrate. So pretend that this little container here full of all these little pebbles is my life. And I'm going to, on my own, try to take care of everything, right? Whether it's bills, family, whatever my concerns are, I'm going to go, okay, these are all the things that I have to figure out on my own. I would say the bigger rocks are those bigger things, right? Your family, your bills. And then I go, okay, God, and I also know that, like, you're really important and I want to, like, stick you in there, but you don't really fit. And, you know I'm supposed to like give, not just of my income, but of my time and my talents, of everything, my first fruits, right? The best of me. I want to give that to you, but I can't because I'm already giving so much to everything else. So I go, I'm just going to like, just sit you down over here. And then there's something lacking. And I'm like, man, what do I, but God, but like if I put you back here, it just doesn't work. And he's like, well, let me fix it for you. Put me actually first. Okay? And then I'm going to take care of your family. I'm going to take care of your finances. I'm going to take care of all the things that you need. But you have to have a little faith. And all of a sudden, it makes sense. Because my brain, I'm not a very mathy scientific person. That is illogical to me, what just happened. But God makes sense of the things that we don't understand when we activate our faith.